In May of 2017, at a cheap Red Roof Inn motel in Newark, Delaware, federal agents moved in on a man carrying nearly $400,000 in cash. That man was Omar Morales Colón, a Delaware resident with ties stretching all the way to the infamous Sinaloa Cartel of Mexico. Investigators say this wasn't just a one-off deal. Morales was moving hundreds of kilos of cocaine, millions of dollars in drug money, and laundering it all through his own real estate empire and rental properties. This wasn't some big city kingpin out of Miami, New York, or Los Angeles. This was Delaware, a small state with small towns, and yet one man was able to run a pipeline of cocaine and cash that shocked even seasoned federal prosecutors. Today, we're breaking down the rise and fall of Omar Morales Colón, the Delaware trafficker who went from flashy wealth to facing 45 years in federal prison. To understand how Morales got here, you need to know this wasn't his first rodeo. Back in 2003, he was convicted of cocaine trafficking and served 5 years in prison. That conviction should have been enough to scare him straight. But instead, it seems like prison only taught him how to move smarter, hide his money, and build something bigger. Federal prosecutors later revealed that Morales had developed an entire strategy to hide his drug profits. He transferred properties into his wife's name, bought rental units, and even constructed a hidden underground bunker beneath his home, accessible through a false fireplace. That bunker would later become one of the most shocking discoveries in the case. Fast forward to May 2017. Federal agents had been watching Morales carefully. He was already on their radar, suspected of moving large amounts of cocaine. On the day of his arrest, Morales met drug smugglers from California at the Red Roof Inn in Newark, Delaware. These weren't small-time dealers. These were couriers trusted with multi-million-dollar shipments. Inside that motel, Morales handed over a duffel bag containing $382,000 in cash. The smugglers had brought with them 17 kilos of cocaine. That's about 37 pounds of pure product. Federal agents swooped in and arrested Morales on the spot. But the Red Roof bust was just the beginning. After Morales' arrest, investigators searched his properties. What they found blew the case wide open. At his house and storage units, they seized another $500,000 in cash. They discovered 17 kilos of marijuana stashed away. And then, the biggest shock, a large underground bunker, built beneath his home, complete with equipment once used for growing marijuana. This wasn't a street-level operation. This was a man who built infrastructure, real estate fronts, and a money laundering machine to hide his empire. The legal process against Morales took years, stretched out even longer by the COVID-19 pandemic. Prosecutors actually split the case into 2 separate jury trials. In the first trial, in September 2021, Morales was convicted on 2 counts of drug trafficking but acquitted on 2 others. Then in the second trial, in July 2022, both Morales and his wife, Shakira Martinez, were convicted on all counts of money laundering. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Jurors saw video footage of him handing over the cash-filled duffel bag. They saw pictures of the seized cocaine, marijuana, and stacks of money. And they heard testimony from drug smugglers who described working with Morales over multiple years. Morales didn't go quietly. He represented himself in parts of the case, filing motion after motion trying to get a new trial. He claimed evidence was mishandled, that prior convictions shouldn't have been brought up, and that government witnesses gave inconsistent testimony. But in January 2023, the court rejected all of his arguments. A judge ruled that the trials were fair, the evidence was properly admitted, and Morales had no grounds for a retrial. In the end, the hammer came down hard. Morales was sentenced to 45 years in federal prison. At his age, that's essentially a life sentence. Prosecutors described him as a man who built his fortune off poison in the community, laundering his profits through real estate while moving cocaine by the kilo. His flashy bunker, his hidden cash, and his attempts to rewrite history in court, all of it came crashing down. The story of Omar Morales Colón is a reminder of how deep cartel connections run in the United States. You don't need to be in Miami, New York, or Chicago to be plugged into an international network. Even in a small state like Delaware, someone like Morales was able to move over 150 kilos of cocaine,